Welcome, everyone, to the Around the Diamond podcast with your host, Alec Pecino, and co host and host of the Walker Report, Bradley Walker. Tonight on the show, we will go over our weekend preview, our players to watch, picks to click, and a lot more. But we're going to start the show off on a sad note, as I know Brad probably heard about it, but John Sterling, the late Yankees radio announcer, passed away the other day at the rightful age of 87. And he is most known for his multitude of home run calls he had for Yankees players.
Well, then the Yankees win thing too, I think, is the other thing that's
Yes.
for. And even though I hate the Yankees with every ounce of both of us hate them with every ounce of our being. John Sterling was a good. I think he was TV. I think he's TV. Was he TV or radio for the Yankees? I don't remember.
He was radio. He's one of the best radio announcers.
Yeah, he's one of those those voices that when he goes, like a Vin Scully or an Ernie Harwell, guys like that have been on the radio and have been with a single franchise for a long time. When they go away, big shoes to fill. So whoever the Yankees hire.
No, he might have been. I think he did a little bit of both. I think he was radio and TV.
Because I think there isn't there radio. Who is their radio guy? He has his own show in New York, and I can't.
Michael K.
Thank you, Michael K. The Michael K. Show. Correct. Okay.
Because TV, it was him and somebody else.
Yeah.
And now it's the old play-by-play guy for the Mariners.
Gotcha. So yeah, I mean, it's sad to see a legendary announcer go down. I mean, yes, me and Alec both, like I said earlier, hate the Yankees with every ounce of our being, but it sucks to have like for the Rays, we have Dwayne Stats. Whenever he hangs it up, it's going to be hard.
It's probably going to be hard. Andy Freed that probably takes over.
I mean, Andy Freed and New Solons, I've got to meet them both, being that I've been a media member. And it's funny that when you don't see these guys' faces, because again, they're on the radio, they're not on TV. They're not what
they look like. Andy Freed, he does some of the games for the Rays when they're on the road.
Correct.
Because Dwayne Stats doesn't. There's some road trips that Dwayne Stats takes off.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So John Sterling will be missed, and I'm sure the Yankees.
But I like how all the other, whether it be TV or radio people in MLB, are doing their own little twist to the John Sterling.
Yeah.
Like the Rays did it the other night when they beat the Blue Jays. Rays win.
Yeah. And I think, I forget who their PA guy was for a long time, an older gentleman. And actually Derek Jeter, in his last at bat at Yankee Stadium, actually had the guy him play that, like, now hitting number 2, Derek Jeter. And I forget the guy's name, but again, another legendary PA guy for the Yankees. So, yeah, we'll be missed. John will be missed.
Anyway, to our weekend series preview, and Brad, you can go first.
Well, me and Alec were talking pre-show. It was very, very hard to find 3 in the National League. I'm going to start with the Rockies and the Phillies. That was the one that I'm kind of on the fence on, but here's the surprise, ladies and gentlemen. The team that's actually bad in this series is not the Rockies. The Phillies are off to a bad start this year. The Rockies are off to a surprise.
We would never thought we were going to be saying that.
Correct. Yeah, this series is very, very important more to Philadelphia than it is to Colorado. And be happy that they're playing in Philadelphia because there's a big snowstorm in Colorado and Denver. So I don't know they'd be playing baseball too much. with the snow in Denver. But yeah, I this one was kind of hard to choose from. The other two are actually competitive in both ways. So I'll start with the Rockies and the Phillies. My next one was Cardinals Padres. These two teams currently sit in the same spot in their respective divisions, and they have similar records. I think if these two teams can continue on, this could be a series we might see in the playoffs with, the NL playing itself out. Could be a preview of that. And my last one, I don't know how you can not pick Braves Dodgers. The two top teams, the Braves are the best team in baseball right now, and the Dodgers are the Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers are the Dodgers. So those are my three for the NL.
No, that's not how this works, King. Sorry. So that was your NL, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I will get to my two NL weekend series previews in a second. As I'm having not issues, but my computer has decided that it wants to tell me that I need to get support for it. Thank you for subscribing, Noah. Anyway, my two weekends here is my first one is how can you not go with the Reds and the Astros? And the pitching matchups are quite good. The Friday, tomorrow is Mike Burrows and the returning Nick Lodolo. Saturday, you have Spencer Arrighetti and Chase Burns. Sunday, Peter Lambert and Andrew Abbott. And then the other weekend series in the National League I have is the Marlins and Nationals playing a 3-game set in
Division rivals.
Division rivals playing for the first time this year. Pitching matchups. Friday is do we want to call it juicy? It's Foster Griffin against the debuting Robbie Snelling, who we have covered ad nauseum on this specific show.
I was gonna say, haven't we mentioned his name numerous times?
Yes, we have.
Okay. When you said that, I'm like, that name sounds very familiar.
Yes, I think we gave each other a headache the amount of times we've talked about Robbie Snelling on this show. And then Saturday is an interesting pitching matchup. Zach Littell, the former Ray, and Jansen Junk. And then Sunday is Cade Cavalli and Sandy Alcantara. Which, the way the Marlins are playing right now, I don't think they're going to trade Alcantara.
I don't think so either.
Who were your American League weekend series?
I'm going to start with the Tigers and the Royals. The funny thing is the AL Central right now is volatile. Everybody in that division is under 500. Everybody in that division is under 500. The Tigers lost Skubal. I think am I right? Did they lose Skubal?
Yes, but he's going to be back at some point this year.
That's a huge loss for the Tigers right off the bat. But I think out of these two teams, I think the Tigers can bounce back and get back to over 500 and get better. I know they just got swept by my Red Sox, which they're not doing very well either. But I mean, we'll start there. I think the series that I like the most in the AL this weekend is A's and Orioles. Guys, the A's are still in the lead in the AL West. I don't think that was on our bingo card to start the season.
And not just ours.
Yeah, the Athletics were going to be
anybody in baseball. I don't
Yeah.
think anybody in baseball had that on their bingo card. The A's being in first place on May 7th.
May 7th. Yeah, correct. And then, the Orioles are, I think, near the bottom of the AL East around
They're
the
starting to get healthy, though.
yeah. And
Adley's back. Jordan Westbrook should be back soon.
and you mentioned Pete Alonso had hit a home run, so everything's starting to get back into shape for the O's.
It's going to be scary if they can put everything together.
Yes, I agree. I agree. And the last one was Mariners and the White Sox. And again, just like I mentioned earlier with the Rockies and the Phillies, the team that's struggling the most is the Mariners. Guys, they were in the they were ALCS last year to play against the Jays, and they're struggling right now. And the White Sox have a similar record to them. Something's got to change in Seattle soon. But yeah, those are my 3 weekend series in the AL.
My 3-week series in the AL. First one, and this is shout out to John Sterling. It's the Yankees and the Brewers. And listen to these pitching matchups. Friday, Max Fried and Jacob Mozorowski. Tell me, the two aces of the staffs.
Mm-hmm.
And can we expect any more than 2 runs while they're in the game?
Yeah, I was going to say not very many will be scored.
Especially with Mizorowski. That fastball touches 100, and then he's got that disgusting slider. Saturday, Cam Schlittler and Kyle Harrison. Sunday, the season debut for Carlos Rodon against Logan Henderson. And I want to ask you something. Will the Yankees have Carlos Rodon on a pitch count limit since it's his first start of the season and he's coming back from injury?
I would say probably, but I'm going to guess, what would you guess, 80, 90 pitches? I would imagine it would be any more than
like
that.
a soft innings limit for his first start. Because that's what we normally see, like 3 innings, and then the next start 4.
Yeah,
maybe 4 1/3, then 5.
I would say ease him back into getting back to what a normal starting pitcher would be. If 5, 6 innings, I think is what they go now. So something like that. I don't think he'll be on a pitch count or a soft inning count, one of the two. Yes.
My second weekend series is the Tigers and Orioles, and the pitching matchups are interesting. Montero against Bubich on Friday. Ty Madden against Michael Walker on Saturday. And Sunday, Brant Herter against Noah Cameron. Any of those pitching matchups entice you in that series?
Not really. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top, who takes all 3 or 2.
I would imagine with Herter going Sunday for the Tigers, that means it might be a bullpen game maybe, or somebody might be pitching behind him. He might be the opener. And then the last weekend series I got in the American League, and this to me is must watch: Rangers and Cubs. And the matchups are Friday, Ben Brown against Kumar Rocker. Saturday, Edward Cabrera and Jack Leiter. Sunday, Jamison Taillon and Jacob deGrom. Any of those entice you?
I think the last one on Sunday would entice me. See deGrom pitching.
Even though it's not prime Jacob deGrom anymore.
Correct.
Who is your player to watch this week?
Player to watch. I got a list here. I am going to go. You know what? I'm going to do a little bit of respect to John Sterling. I'm going to go with Ben Rice, the first baseman of the New York Yankees.
Benjamin Rice.
Mm-hmm.
My player to watch, and I talked about him on my show this morning, and I did a breakdown of him. It is Rays relief pitcher Ian Seymour. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you watched the show. My show this morning on this same channel, I did a breakdown of Ian Seymour and how I'm positive, like 90% sure this is his breakout starting. The Rays don't need to mess this up and move him back into the rotation. Leave him in the bullpen. Let him cook out of the bullpen. A 1 ERA and whip in the last week and a half for Ian Seymour. If that doesn't tell you, Ian, the one thing I was looking at his metrics, and actually, since he's my player to watch, I still have his baseball savant up. We could go ahead and look at it. Yes, and this is what y'all saw this morning if you watched my morning episode. Yes, his expecting batting average is a ERA, is a 4.35. The expecting batting average is 2.47. Opponent's batting average, that's still pretty good. Anything under a 3 is good. Would you agree with that, Brad?
Absolutely.
For a reliever, especially.
Mm-hmm.
Average exit velo, yes, it may be in the blue, which is poor, but not. Yes, there is a lot of relievers now that do throw over 90 miles an hour, but you can still get work done throwing under 90 miles an hour. And then, but look at the one thing that sticks out to me, and I know you can see it, Brad, is that chase percentage.
Mm-hmm.
Almost 36% of batters are chasing Ian Seymour, like his pitches. And same with the whiff percentage, almost 30%, 26 on the K percentage. Walk percentage, he could lower that a little bit. Barrel, ground ball rate, I think he needs to get that up a little bit. But, ladies and gentlemen, now you've seen his Baseball Savant page, Ian Seymour's Baseball Savant page, twice today. And, this is what I was trying to see earlier. Look at his pitch usage. He's using the changeup 33% of the time. And his changeup's only 83 miles an hour. The left-handed, the LHP average is 84%, 84.6, which means he's right at league average for his changeup speed. Left-handed fastball. That's the sinker. Sinker sits at 90. Average is 93. So he's 3 miles an hour below league average. Fastball. I'll let you take this one, Brad. Fastball sits at 91. What is the league average?
I can't see it, but it's too small on my screen.
93. It's 93.3.
Okay, so he's only off by 2 miles an hour. Yeah.
Yep. 81.4 on the sweeper. 80. So he's right at league average on the sweeper for how fast it is. Slider, 2 miles an hour off. 1 mile an hour off on his cutter. But the usage percentage across the board, as we see here, 33% is the most he uses one pitch. Everything else is, except for the cutter, is kind of evenly used. The cutter and the slider are 5 and 4%. Fastball he uses 19. Sweeper he uses 18. Would you, after all the stats I just went over, would you say this is a breakout for him?
I would. And if he continues to, because it looks like you said he uses the change, that's his first pitch.
Yeah.
With the change. If he can continue to use the change and continue to use his cutter or his fastball, you can get batters guessing. And obviously he has them because he's got a good whiff rate.
Well,
So
the thing is, who was it on Brian Anderson, who's probably one of the best TV color commentators. There's another race pitcher that uses his slider as like a show pitch, and that's Brian Baker because he has a fastball and a changeup. Why can't Ian Seymour do the same thing? His changeup and sinker be the main two pitches, and then you sprinkle in the slider and the cutter as like a show pitch just to keep the batter.
yes,
Huh. Yeah, like, oh, I'm still going to have to look for a slider or a cutter. And then 18% of the time he does use his sweeper. Bump that up to 20. Same with the four seam. Not saying I've always wanted him to be a closer, but I don't think he necessarily has the speed to be a closer.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you use your changeup a lot, hitters will adapt to that. I would keep him where he's at currently.
Which is, he did get a save the other day against the Blue Jays, but right now I think Brian Baker's the closer till you get Uceda back. Who is your pick to click?
I'm gonna go with Trevor Larnach of the Minnesota Twins.
My pick to click is Mickey Moniak, outfielder. And you know what? He's playing his former organization. He used to be, not many people know. Way back when, Mickey Moniak was a Phillies prospect. And the Phillies, what did they do? They cast him off, abandoned him, pushed him to the side, as if to say, I'm sorry, we have players that are better than you, so we're just going to send you out the door. And our next segment is a segment we are calling, what was it? Was it
Ball and strike?
No, I thought it was trade.
Oh, trade or no trade?
Yes. And then it's ball and strike. And then it's White Sox better or should teams promote prospects? So Brad has a list of players that we're going to go over, and we're either going to say trade or no trade, which no trade is kind of obvious. It means the team should not trade that player. So go ahead, Brad.
I've got 11. The first one I'm going to say just recently got hurt, and that's Tarek Skubal.
No trade.
No trade. Okay.
Would you agree?
I would agree. I think the Tigers really need to hang on to him because if you don't, he's going to be a Dodger or a Yankee or, or a Philly.
Maybe a Pirate.
Maybe a Pirate. The next one is Joe Ryan.
Trade.
I agree.
It's kind of obvious. They wanted to trade him in the offseason. They just couldn't find the right package. And I think we both know that the Twins are not going to be in the playoff hunt much longer.
The next one, Bud, is also a Twin in Byron Buxton.
See, the problem with him is I think he's gotten past that point where he's got the 10-5 rights. He's been with the team for 10 years, and he has the 5-team no-trade list.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going to say trade.
Okay.
But it's going to have to be to somebody that he's approved.
Right.
What are you going to say?
I would say the exact same thing. I think at his...
And now, especially, I think the Twins are going to blow it up.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Anyway, is there any Astros on the list?
Yes. Brian Abreu.
Trade.
Okay.
One, because did you see who's out for the rest of the season for the Astros?
Carlos Correa.
Yep. I don't think the Astros are going to make the playoffs now.
I'm surprised that this player is on the list. In
What
Yanni.
do you think about Brian Abreu?
Oh no, I would agree, but trade absolutely, absolutely.
Yanni Diaz is next.
Yeah, I would say no trade. I don't. He's
No
a
trade.
hitting machine.
Unless you get the right price in return for him.
Gotcha.
That's the only way you trade him. But these veterans like Martinez and Matz, I think if you're out of it at the All-Star break, at the trade deadline, then yes, you entertain the idea of trading both of them because that opens two rotation spots, and then maybe that's when you call up Bernie Hopkins, or you wait till August 15th so he doesn't lose the rookie eligibility for next year.
True.
Who is next?
The next one is Isaiah Kiner-Fafella. I'm sure if I'm not pronouncing it.
Heiner Falafa.
Yeah, the infielder for the Red Sox.
Trade.
Yeah, I would have to say yep.
Because it seems like Marcelo Meyer.
Yeah. Yep.
And eventually maybe Christian Campbell.
Well, then they have Jaron Duran on this list too, which I don't think. I say no trade. I think you hang on to him.
I say trade and only to one team, the Padres. But then again, who are you going to get back? Because the Padres don't really have a farm system.
Right.
Because it's our old buddy, AJ Preller, at the trade deadline.
Seth Lugo.
Trade.
I agree. Get him out of Kansas City. Let him go. Let him go to a contender. Brian Abreu. Or did I already? I said Brian Abreu already, right? Yeah. Freddie Peralta.
Okay. I'm going to explain this in a nice way for Mets fans. Trade only if you can't get an extension done with him.
Okay.
Because he's going to be a free agent. But we know that who I'm having a moment here. Who is the GM of the Mets? Cohen. Steve Cohen.
Yes.
We know Steve Cohen's not afraid to open up the pocketbook.
Nope. By no means.
Ask Juan Soto. $800 million. And all the Phillies fans out there want to whine and complain and say he's the most overrated player to get paid $800 million. I would be careful saying that because you have 3 or 4 guys on your team that are making close enough to that kind of money. Bryce Harper. Who is the next guy?
Luis Castillo of the Mariners.
Trade. Because you're getting a starter back, Bryce Miller. And unless you want to go, you're not taking, and we've talked about Emerson Hancock on the show, you're not taking him out of the rotation. There's absolutely no way. And I would think you would agree with me.
I agree.
How Hancock's pitched. So Castillo's got to be the odd man out unless you want to put him in the bullpen, but I don't think he's going to want to pitch out of the bullpen.
And the last two are both White Sox in Sean Newcomb and Austin Hayes.
I would say depending on where they are in the standings, if they're still competing at the deadline, I would say keep. But if they're not, trade because you could get some form of a prospect back.
I agree. And those are the guys that I had, but my 11.
So now ball and strike, ball or strike. And what did we agree on for ball or strike?
I think it was, but ball and strike, I think, was the Rockies and White Sox. Should they call up their prospects? I think was the
Ball and strike Rockies and White Sox better. And should teams call up promote prospects?
right.
Oh, before that we had the Phillies.
Correct.
Yes,
Should the Phillies
yes,
trade Harper and the vets?
yes, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to pick on the Phillies for a minute. I'm sorry, we have to. So should the Phillies trade? Obviously, Schwarber's probably not going anywhere.
No, I don't think so.
Christopher Sanchez is probably going to stay. Nolan and Wheeler, man. Could you see one or both of them being traded?
Possibly.
Because we've talked about that. Zach Wheeler's talked about that he's going, and I've heard it from Aaron Nola also. Both those guys have talked about how this might be their last year and they want to retire. And if the Phillies are out of it, why would you waste the last year of their career if you're out of the playoffs? I think you can get a big haul for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's worth trading. Like, it's worth trading them. What would a return look like? I know Bryce Harper's kind of out of his prime. What would a return look like for Bryce Harper?
I'm assuming, Bud, you're going to get a player that can play now, and then you're going to get prospects or picks.
Would it be an A-tier prospect or like a B-tier prospect?
I would
how
say
old Harper?
I would say an A-tier prospect because you're not going to just give up a huge, I would think the Phillies would want at least an A guy back that they could start immediately or within the next couple years. In my opinion, that's how I would think with the GM.
And same thing with Nola and Wheeler.
Correct.
A-tier prospect and maybe somebody that can pitch, be in a rotation now. I mean, they do have Andrew Painter, but he's still pretty young. And obviously, like we said, Christopher Sanchez, he's probably the future ace of that staff. So he's not going anywhere. Yohan Duran, their closer, they just traded a bunch of prospects for him last year at the deadline. So he's not going anywhere. Jose Alvarado. I mean, teams can always use bullpen help. So could you see somebody trying to trade for him at the deadline if the Phillies are out of it?
Sure.
Maybe reunite him with the Rays.
It's a possibility.
But the problem is the Rays bullpen is going to be overfilled by that time because Clevenger's already back. Uceda's going to be back at some point. Right, Manuel Rodriguez is going to be back. And then if you have somebody that just shelves it in AAA, that they don't leave the Rays an option.
Well, the Rays are in a situation right now where it's good to have that problem.
Yeah, with the two guys that you have on the IL right now. And Uceda, which apparently he had a setback and they still don't know when he's going to be back. And then the other one they're waiting to get back is Gavin Lux. But I don't think they're going to rush him back with how well Ben Williams has been playing.
I was going to say they'll let him continue his rehab. Yep.
At Durham. And then like the starting side. Right now your rotation is Rasmussen, Martinez, Jax, Schultens, Englert, who's still being stretched out. So you got to think that the Rays are going to have to call up like Brody Hopkins, which the problem is I don't believe that I'm 95% sure Brody Hopkins is not on the 40-man roster, which that's another thing. Because we know how that works. If somebody's not on the 40-man roster, before they get called up, they have to be on the 40-man.
Mm-hmm.
And the Rays have a full 40-man roster right now. So they would have to DFA somebody or make up a fake injury and put somebody on the IL to make room for him. Joe Rock is on the 40, so he could be called up. And I'm surprised he's not being called up because he's already stretched out to be a starter and work out of the bullpen. But now it's a ball and strike, and the topics today for ball and strike are the Rockies and White Sox better than they were last year? And should teams promote prospects? And go ahead and start us off, Brad.
Well, I think up till this point, and again, I know people out there are going to say, well, we're only 20 some odd games into the season and da-da-da-da. But I think both the White Sox and the Rockies are better so far this year. With the Rockies, they have a strong pipeline in AAA Albuquerque. Did they call up Charlie Condon, or is he still in AAA?
He's in AAA.
Okay. And they have Ethan Holiday also surging in the minors as well. So the Rockies. Go ahead.
Ethan Holiday, he is the brother of the Orioles, Jackson Holiday, and the other son of former Cardinals and Rockies DH and outfielder. Finish it off. Matt
Holiday,
who was a great outfielder when he played.
Correct.
As a Reds fan, I remember him torturing the Reds. Gave me nightmares at night. But then again, hey, if the being a Red Sox fan, there's probably Yankee players on the Yankees that gave you nightmares.
Yeah, I will have to say that even though I'm not a Yankee fan, my two favorite Yankees are both players that would, beat the Red Sox a lot. And that's Jeter and Rivera. So when those guys
Rivera beat everybody with that dang cutter.
Cut fastball, yeah.
Yep, you tried to swing at it, and you were lucky to get a piece of it.
Correct.
If you did, it'd bust your bat in half. And it feels like relievers are trying to bring that pitch back. Nobody does it better than Mariano Rivera.
The only Red Sox that I can remember that did very well against Rivera was Bill Miller, our third baseman. He's the only one that seemed to have the right swing to get. He was the one who obviously had the base hit that let Dave Roberts come around and score, tie the game, and then in 2004 when we beat them in the ALCS. But yeah, Rivera's my favorite closer. I know people would say Trevor Hoffman on down the list of great closers.
Well, see, and I know we're doing ball strike segment, but we can also do. I would have to say my three favorite closers of all time. Rivera's one. Trevor Hoffman. When you heard Hell's Bells, if you were playing against the Padres, you knew it was wrap it up. Just head to the exit.
Or Enter Sandman with Rivera. Yep, Enter Sandman.
Those two. Yep. You heard one of those two songs. You could just book it. 3 outs. Game's gonna be over. Modern day. So my third one is gonna be modern. My favorite closer right now, Mason Miller of the Padres, and we've talked about him a lot too, and how filthy he is.
Mm-hmm.
How was it? 32 or 33 innings consecutive scoreless streak without giving up a run.
Correct.
And Brad and I talk about this. You couldn't pay either of us to stand in the box, in a batter's box with Mason Miller. I'd rather watch highlights of Mason Miller than have to take an at bat against him. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see for yourself, go look up Mason Miller highlights on YouTube. He makes hitters look silly with that 100-mile-an-hour fastball. And then you think, oh, so that's all he's got is a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. No, no, you're wrong. He's got that. Then he's got this weapon called a slider that just doesn't break till the last minute.
Correct.
And people start swinging at it, and it's already halfway to the catcher's mitt. And they're like, huh? Where did that go? That's strike 3. You're back in the dugout, buddy. Sorry. But yes, I agree. I think the Rockies are a lot better this year.
And I think so are the White Sox. You have their prospects are doing well as well. You have Grant Schultz, Braden Montgomery, Colson Montgomery, Sam.
Well, and Braden.
Yeah.
Braden Montgomery just got promoted to AAA, which means within the next month or two, he's going to be up in the big leagues. You got to think. Because
no, I agree.
Do you trust Austin Hayes playing left or right field every day?
Obviously not.
Ask Orioles fans. Oh, wait, you can't because they're having an issue right now with their outfield. They have too many outfielders. Who else were you going to say?
Sam
Andanucci.
There you go. Yep.
Andanucci. It's almost like it's oh wait, it is Italian.
He is. As I said, he is Italian. Yep.
He played for the Italian team in the WBC with Vinny Pasquantino. And I didn't know Jack Caglione was Italian.
Yeah, he is. Yep. He's my favorite Royal. I guess he was a Gator. He was a Florida Gator.
I didn't realize he was Italian. I thought he was American.
Yep.
But yeah, I think both the White Sox and Royals are better. And now not the Royals, the White Sox and the Rockies. And the last part of ball and strike is, should teams start promoting their prospects aggressively? I would say yes.
I agree with you, bud. I agree with you. Yep.
Like the White Sox, I think they're going to give Braden Montgomery maybe a week or two in AAA. Just to see if he's ready for Major League pitching, because some of those guys at AAA have been in the big leagues. And if he's hitting 300, 320, he'll be up with the White Sox. And they'll find somewhere to put him in the outfield. I mean, you've been juggling Luis Angel Acuna in center at second base. So they'll find somewhere for him. And I know the Red Sox still have a handful of prospects that need to be called up.
And like I said, we cleaned house with manager, coaches, and stuff. So, if it's going to be one of those things, bud, where we're struggling, why not call guys up and see what you got for the future?
I mean, Christian Campbell.
Well,
issue is where are you going to play him?
That's a good question.
Because Contreras can't really catch. You've got is Minor second base. Durbin's at third base. Short is Story. Second is Marcelo Meyer. Then the outfield is Duran, Rafaela, and Abreu. Does Abreu play every day, or is he platoon?
I think he might be platoon, but I'm not 100% sure.
I mean, I know you probably really like Willier,
I do.
but
He's been one of those guys that's grown on me
and then
over
you
the
got
past few years.
Yoshida DHing who can't play the outfield at all.
No.
And I've heard from other Red Sox fans that Yoshida's a defensive liability.
He is. I know when they brought him over.
That expression,
Yeah.
your sigh there said, yeah, that says the whole story.
Yep.
And then what was the last one? This thing was that was okay. So tell them about your show before we get out of here.
Yeah, guys, we're gonna go over the NHL draft lottery. Talk about who won, who they might go after. Go over a little bit of F1. I'm gonna go back and take a look at the NFL draft. We got some new grades coming in, so we'll talk about those. And then, of course, we will be talking about WWE Backlash that's coming up on Saturday at Benchmark International Arena, the WWE's next PLE. So come on over 8 o'clock, the Walker Report YouTube channel. We will be live on there. So we'll see you guys over there.
I will not be on it this week, but I will stop in and say hi. Again, this episode of the show is up on the website, which is sportsbreakdown.net. So if you want to hear it in full on the website, more than welcome. And you can look at everything else that is on the website. We will be putting our college football rankings up there once the season starts. We do not do pre-spring, post-spring rankings because that's ludicrous. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I don't think we need to remind everybody where we're going to be week 2 of college football season. But for Alec and Brad, we will have another episode of this show next week on Thursday. See everybody on Thursday.
Yeah, everybody.